The air was thick with the scent of sand, gunpowder, and tension. Somewhere in the distance, a faint hum of rotor blades faded into silence, leaving only the whispering wind over the dunes. The mission briefing had been clear: eliminate the target, extract the intel, and get out before sunrise. But what the team didn't know was that tonight would etch itself into their memories forever. Lieutenant Jackson Hayes, a seasoned Navy SEAL with 10 years in combat zones, scanned the ridge through his binoculars. His team crouched in formation, each man a shadow among shadows. But it wasn't his men that drew his attention. It was the newcomer, the quiet sniper who'd joined them only a week ago. They called her Raven. No one knew her real name. No one dared to ask. She rarely spoke, her words measured and cold, her movements precise like clockwork. Jackson had seen plenty of sharpshooters. Something about her unsettled him. Not fear, but curiosity. Rumors swirled through the unit. Some said she was ex-CIA. Others whispered she'd been trained by a ghost. A legend long gone. A sniper who'd disappeared years ago after a classified mission in the Hindu Kush. They called that legend the Phantom. And tonight, Jackson would learn just how real that ghost was. The target compound lay half a mile ahead. A cluster of low concrete buildings surrounded by rusting vehicles and the faint glow of campfires. Intel suggested a high-value arms broker was holed up inside, protected by 30 militants. The SEALs would breach from the south. Raven would take over watch on the northern ridge. As the team moved into position, Jackson's radio crackled softly. "Raven, status, eyes on," came her reply. Calm, flat, unshaken. He almost smiled. She didn't need extra words. The wind picked up, swirling sand across the valley floor. Visibility dropped. Jackson squinted. Lowering his NVGs, this was going to be messy. Then came the first shot. A single suppressed crack echoed through the night, so clean, so deliberate, it didn't even sound like death. One of the sentries collapsed before his cigarette hit the SD. Ground, then another, and another. Each shot felt like punctuation. Marks in a story only Raven could write. Target. "Window open," she said. Softly, Jackson led his men in, moving fast and silent. Within minutes, the compound erupted. Shouts, gunfire, confusion. The SEALs swept through, clearing room after room. It was surgical, efficient. Raven's covering fire was everywhere and nowhere. She seemed to anticipate danger before it appeared. "Raven, east roof." Jackson shouted as tracer fire rained down. "Already handled," she said. The shooter on the roof crumpled mid-burst, his rifle tumbling into the dust. Jackson froze for a moment, glancing toward the ridge. He couldn't see her, but he felt her presence like a ghost in the dark. By the time the dust settled, the target was down, the intel recovered. The SEALs regrouped at the exfil point, adrenaline still buzzing. Raven was the last to arrive, her rifle slung low, face calm. Eyes unreadable beneath streaks of dust and moonlight, Jackson approached her, trying to mask his curiosity. "Good shooting back there," he said. She nodded, saying nothing. He hesitated. "You trained under someone, didn't you?" "Your technique? It's not standard SEAL, not even recon. Who taught you?" For a long moment, she was silent. Then, softly, almost like she was speaking to herself, she said, "Someone who doesn't exist anymore." Before he could ask, she turned and walked toward the waiting helicopter days later. Back at base, Jackson couldn't shake the thought. He pulled her file, or what little there was of it. Half the document was redacted, pages blacked out like secrets buried under ink. But one line caught his eye: mentor, classified. Codename, Phantom. Jackson froze. The Phantom wasn't a myth after all. He remembered the stories of a sniper whose confirmed kills were never recorded, whose missions were erased from history. Some said he'd vanished after a betrayal in his own ranks. Others believed he was still out there, watching from the shadows. And this woman, she was his student. Their next mission came sooner than expected. A convoy ambush in a remote Afghan valley. The team was pinned down, outgunned, trapped behind burning vehicles. Jackson called over the radio. "Raven, we're boxed in. Need overwatch now?" No response. Seconds dragged. The enemy closed in. Then, a single shot rang out from the cliffs above. The lead truck exploded, scattering debris and panic. Another shot, another target down. Through the haze, Jackson saw her silhouette perched high on a crumbling ledge, rifle steady, cloak blending with the rocks. She wasn't just firing. She was orchestrating chaos. Every bullet, every echo, every breath. When the last enemy fell, silence returned. Jackson approached her after the extraction, awe in his voice. "That wasn't training," he said. "That was instinct. You don't just learn that." Raven glanced at him, her eyes distant. "Reflective? My teacher used to say," she murmured. "If you can see the wind, you can see death before it comes." Jackson's breath caught. "That's what the Phantom used to say." She looked at him for the first time. Really looked, and for a brief moment, he saw it. The ghost of another soldier in her eyes. "Her," he whispered. "You're the one they said he trained." Raven said nothing, but the faintest trace of a smile touched her lips, the kind that holds 1,000 untold stories. Then she turned away, the desert wind carrying her words like a memory. "He didn't just train me," she said. "He made sure the world would never forget him, even if it thought he was dead." That night, Jackson stood alone on the tarmac, watching the helicopters disappear into the horizon. The legend of the Phantom lived on, not in whispers, not in stories, but in the steady hands of the woman who carried his legacy. And for the first time, Jackson understood that some ghosts don't haunt the living. They guide them.